Are we live? There we go. What's going on? Welcome back to another brand new episode of Skywalking Through the League. I am your host, and in the words of Jeff Goldblum in Thor Ragnarok, it's my birthday! Welcome to a special episode of Skywalking Through the League, the birthday edition of Skywalking Through the League. And I'm joined as always by my giant partner in crime, Trey Mitchell. Trey, how you doing, buddy? Are you there? Where is he? She's live! She's here! Oh my god!
Did you hear me?
Oh my god! I can't hear you. Oh my god, it's my sister.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to what a wonderful surprise. Oh my
Grace
god.
sent me the link and it said bestie join and I said, you got it, bestie.
Look at what's happening. The most ambitious crossover since Avengers and they're sitting in the background, baby.
Hi.
There they are. What's going on? Trey,
No.
you doing okay, buddy?
This is going to be the most ambitious crossover.
This is the most ambitious
Spider-Man No Way
crossover.
Home. Yep.
Totally.
We have multiple guests still coming.
I have your shirt on. You're on my
This is already the best birthday ever. Oh my god. We've got more guests that are already in the chat right now. We've got my sister, Annie. Who's on your left? Trey, who's on Annie's left?
We have a different position, so I'll put the man known as Bully Chiquiti.
There he is, on your left. Connor, how you doing,
Hello.
buddy?
Dude, I can't do the last hour or two has just been insane. We'll get into it.
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Awesome. Happy to have you, my friend. We have another on.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Mwah, I love you. Who else do we got here? Who's there? Is on your left, Alden
Boom.
Diaz.
Two she's for the price of one. Just the way I like it.
Man.
I'm drinking.
We
out of
have someone
Grogu's
else
head.
too. Someone else too.
Stop it. Reagan! I am so happy right now.
That's not it though. We have one more. One more.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
His
Wow.
podcast
Hello, my
first
friend.
appearance. What's up?
Oh my god.
Nothing much.
This is so
I'm trying to figure out
wonderful
my
already.
computer right now, so I'm like doing it from my phone, but I'll rejoin again on the computer.
Yeah,
but I
just
also wanted
send
to,
me a
like-
message on the good old Twitter when
This
you're
is
ready.
wonderful. I already
Alright,
love
awesome, sounds
everything
good.
about
I'll
it.
be right back.
All right, sounds good.
Mwah. So, welcome everybody to a special episode of Skywalking Through the League. I know it's probably going to be a little chaotic, which is fine, which is what we love. But there's a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. I think there's a lot to discuss. And it's my birthday, so it's going to get a little weird, which I'm very happy to do. So I think everybody here has kind of has watched the show. Annie finished it moments ago, correct?
That is true. Yeah.
Reagan, you've watched it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. So let's just get into it. Let's just jump into it, as Philip DeFranco would say. And let's start with our very special guest. And let's start with the
Which
nepotism
one?
part
There's
of
so
it.
many.
Let's start with the nepotism of it all. Annie, you watched all of Book of Boba Fett in one day.
I sure did.
What did you think? Tell me your thoughts on the series as a whole, and then talk about the finale.
I had fun the entire time I watched it.
Okay.
I didn't really understand what a lot of people, at least what you all said, people were complaining about.
Like what specifically?
I remember people not
Spin.
The spin.
yes, I
Spin.
did that.
Okay.
That was fun.
Alden's shaking his head right now. He's in disgust.
Gonna have an aneurysm thinking about those tweets.
Can't think
I
about it if you
remember
just block
people
them.
complaining about the motorcycles that like the street rats. Like,
The Vespas.
No, not the street rats. What did you call them when you texted me originally?
oh, the troubled youths.
Which is 100% the right way to describe them. Keep going.
Oh Lord. I do feel like the last 3 episodes, it became about Mando and Grogu, and it
Mhm.
really wasn't about Boba Fett very much.
Mhm.
But I don't know. You all will talk better about this, so somebody else.
No, you're doing
will
great.
Chime in later.
So you discussed your feelings about the first, not the first, the series as a whole.
Uh-huh.
Talk about the finale. What specifically worked for you? You know, I know that you're a fan of Star Wars. Like you've always watched it with me, but you don't go as in depth as I do with it.
Right.
What were the things of the
You're
finale
not
that you
nuts.
really enjoyed? You're not crazy.
You have a life.
Yeah.
Alden?
Um,
Alden, I'm gonna assume your middle name is Frederick Diaz. Alden Frederick Diaz.
It's a good call. It's a good
AFD,
guess.
baby.
AFD. I don't appreciate that, but I accept it. Annie, go.
oh God, give me the prompt again. I'm so sorry. I've had wine.
What were you?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the finale? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? What were your overall thoughts on the finale?
Okay, anytime Grogu's on the scene or on the screen, I lose my mind because I think he's the cutest thing that's ever existed, ever. So all of that worked for me. Amy Sedaris is always perfect in everything that she does. That's just my opinion. So that was really, really fun to watch. I don't know why I had forgotten like the Rancor existed or like that Boba was in charge of it, but when it came up, I was like, oh shit, that's not good. And then when Boba was like the one controlling, I was like, oh, okay, cool, we're good, everything's fine.
So I don't know if you know, you probably don't know this, and I want to talk about this later. That actually, for people that like pay attention to it, that leaked a while ago.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And like for me, like it kind of took away from the reveal of it. But like, did that, like seeing Boba Fett riding that Rancor, did it feel cool? Did you like? What were your feelings when that happened?
Well, yeah, it was cool, but again, like I said, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Everyone's gonna be fine. Boba's got this like under control. If he's the one controlling essentially like a dinosaur that's just gonna like fuck up all of the droids or whatever they were. So.
Pikes. They're a Pike syndicate. They're like fish people.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know.
But you're good. You're doing great.
Trying.
You're doing so great. I'm so proud of you, Miss Reagan.
Before we go to someone else, we have two more guests.
Jesus
okay?
Christ!
This is the Avengers Endgame of Star Wars podcasting. We
Who
have
we got?
back again, Theoren. He's
What's
back.
up? There he is.
And we got one more person.
One more.
We got Michael.
Sources.
boy.
Oh my
Multiple
God.
sources are confirming that Michael is here.
Sources confirmed that Gil is having a happy birthday.
Totally. The multiple sources are here, and they are right.
Always.
But
without fail.
thank you guys for joining us. I really do appreciate it. You know, and going back to Reagan, I think we talked a little bit. Wait, no, it hadn't come out when we had met each other on Tuesday. So what are your initial thoughts on the finale?
You know, I would say it was like 70% really enjoyable, not necessarily enjoyable as the finale to the series that I had expected. Number one, the series that I expected to see and the finale that I expected to get. I still enjoyed it. There were still so many moments that I like whooped and hollered and screamed at. There were so many moments, even though people seem to hate this, that were intensely Robert Rodriguez that I enjoyed because they were silly and they were goofy. Like I like that there was a payoff to him wanting to ride the Rancor. I mean, it did kind of bother me that it was pretty obvious that a lot of stuff had happened in the previous episode just to stick people where they needed to be for the finale. And honestly, I think for marketing some obvious products that are probably going to come out within the next year. I loved that they paid off Boba's like character growth because of the Tuskens by like having the very poetic use of the gaffy stick at the end. But it was very strange to me that it was kind of like it was paid off, but they just sort of completely missed the chance to really like flesh it out and fully realize it. I thought Cad Bane was, I mean, like I had shivers. Like I really didn't think in any way, shape, or form that he was a character that was going to work well in live action because it would be so easy for him to look goofy, and he had so much presence. Like I watched Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and for a few dollars more, like right after that, and they really they took I mean the facial expressions and the way that his mouth moved were just so directly from Lee Van Cleef. It was like amazing. You know, and I thought like his whole arc was just really poetic and beautiful. Like the conclusion of it was gorgeous and really well done. And I thought that I really liked the way that the what did you say, the troubled youths
The trouble, exactly,
Yeah.
100%.
I liked the way that they were used. It occurred to me that they might work really well, and I kind of wonder if this wasn't the reason for their introduction. They could work fantastically in a standalone Star Wars animated
Mhm.
series. And I have to wonder if that's not why they were brought in. Like, I wish they had more to do. I
Mhm.
wish the main characters of the series had more to do. I was really disappointed that we got to the final episode, and I just like, you get to see Fennec like do an kind of unnecessary flip, which didn't bother me. The spin did not bother me either.
That's Robert Rodriguez. Like
That's
that's
Robert Rodriguez. That's what he does exactly. But like,
that's what,
I just didn't like. I wanted her to do more things. Like, I hoped we'd get more of her backstory. I obviously hope that we would see more of her relationship with Boba. And I enjoyed her general badassery, but like it was still very two-dimensional.
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like the design of the Pikes. I did not feel that I didn't feel any sense of real peril
Mhm.
from them as a villain. I also didn't necessarily I didn't feel the weight of the aftermath of the cantina explosion. I also wish they had, given us a little more of a clue as to what the casualties were.
Yeah, it did feel like they kind of just like, okay, everyone's blown up, no one's here anymore. Like they didn't explain what was happening or like who still survived, and even with like character like Cobb Vanth, which if I'm mentioning Cobb Vanth, I have to contractually I'm obligated to say slob on that Cobb.
Your
Anyway.
sister's here in this.
She
Your sister's here.
understands.
She
She
doesn't
gets
care.
it. Am I right? Am I wrong? She's drinking Moscato. She knows.
enough.
But I think that's right. I don't feel like we got a sense of the casualties, and I think that's a really, really good point, Reagan. Theron, first time guest, baby. Listen to the podcast for a little bit. Do you think that this finale worked well? Do you what would you have done differently? I think there's one thing, like, particularly with Grogu's choice, which is kind of like Sophie's choice, but like more fun.
More fun than Sophie's
More
choice is
fun
a
than
super
Sophie-
low bar.
I know, but like it's still like it's there. Like it's like up there. What do you think of the
You know,
finale?
it was like a friendship between two kids. It wasn't boy in the striped pajamas, but it was, it was.
It's true. It's true. Did the finale work for you? And talking about the finale, if it worked for you, go into a little bit more of why it worked for you, and I'm interested to see what you think about what Grogu's choice was there. If you liked it, because I know when Trey and I talked about it on our friend Jared's podcast, the Nerd Academy, Knights of the Nerd Republic, we had some problems with it. What did you think?
Yeah, I think as a series it works really well, but
Mhm.
the finale kind of, I don't know. It's very iffy for me. I think it starts really strong because I actually have to agree the Pikes don't feel very threatening until that last episode, and it's like this huge mafia betrayal, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Mhm.
But the more it goes on, I feel like the payoff wasn't really worth it. Like, it's weird to see this episode Boba Fett's so no, I'm sticking with Tatooine. I'm not leaving. I'm going to defend these people. Just for, in the last second of the show to be like, I'm not sure if this is for me. Like, that feels kind of weird that we'd have him so passionate and so, strong-willed to stand by these people just for, like I said, at that last second, the payoff, nah. So,
I got you.
payoff is definitely not where I'd like it to be, but I also have a strong feeling that the shows going forward, we're gonna see that payoff better. We're gonna see Boba Fett back, definitely, Fennec back, definitely, whether it's in Book of Boba Fett season 2, hopefully. But we'll see them back, and they're gonna be badass.
Now, I'm sorry to Alden and Connor and Trey, but I'm focusing on the guests that we haven't had before. right now. But Michael,
Typical Bill.
you know,
He
not
gets
focused.
new toys and he just throws us away.
No, I'm not. You're there. I love
Rose
you.
Andy.
Oh, stop it. I don't want you anymore. Anyway,
I feel like Jesse.
Michael, you know, we've been talking a little. We've been talking about the finale. What was the main takeaway from the finale for you? Like, I think, you know, Trey and I have differing opinions on this. I think it worked well. He mentioned earlier in Knights of the Nerd Academy that he kind of didn't really like it. What on the spectrum do you get? Where do you reside on this?
I enjoyed the ending. I thought the finale was fun. I thought it was thematically satisfying. I feel like it didn't resolve some of the larger issues I had with the show overall in terms of pacing and just some of the ways in which the show was structured. Like the fact that there's no real payoff to the whole twins subplot with the Hutts and all that. Like a lot of what happened early kind of felt a little superfluous, a little like we just could have spent some time a little bit better in terms of maybe building up the Pikes as a more serious threat. I do kind of agree with what's been said that they don't really feel very intimidating. There's barely like a character to get behind as the main antagonist. It was that dude who showed up once in episode 3 or whatever. And I honestly felt like it would have been stronger if they had revealed Cad Bane as being the one who killed the Tuskens on behalf of the Pike Syndicate rather than just the Pikes as a whole. I don't know. I felt like that would have worked a little better. But I did overall really have fun with the finale. I thought it was fun to finally get just a big dumb action episode to sort of pay off what we've gotten. I actually enjoyed Grogu coming back to Mando more than I thought I would. It might be, and I'll tell you why. It's mostly because we got the last episode that we did that showed Grogu's Jedi training, and so we see that Grogu going off with Luke wasn't just totally superfluous. It wasn't we said we were going to do that at the end of Mando season 2, but he's a really marketable character, so let's just bring him right back. There was some development there, and it's going to have a larger impact than just no, let's make some more money off this kid, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was as well done as they could have done.
And I want to put a pin in that because I think there's a point that I want to make later about this. Alden, my favorite toy, is what I like to call you. Bring him back to
That's
you.
his name.
Many have called me.
I believe that. I really do believe that. What are your thoughts on the finale? Because you're somebody who, whenever you talk about Star Wars, whenever you have a new thread, when a new Alden thread drops, I listen.
Wake up, babe.
Wake up, babe. There's a new Alden thread.
They've been coming in pretty frequently lately. I think it's because
they really have.
As the dumb takes grow so much. I mean, it's like darkness rises like
it's like and you can figure out which one is Alden. So
for sure. Depending on who you ask. I mean, if you ask certain verifieds, then it's me. But if you ask other people that know what they're talking about, then I'm the light side. But yeah, so
happy birthday to me.
You don't monetize, right? Because you can lose your monetization if you're singing happy birthday.
What?
Yeah,
we make no money.
Isn't it back in the public domain now?
On this podcast.
Is it? Okay.
I think
if it is, then great.
Wait, we've been making money?
No, we don't make anything.
You could turn this into a thing?
That's crazy.
Hey, Mom! Yeah.
Come back, Leanne!
So this episode is a lot of things. It's everything that everybody has said. It's so much it's so the B movie spirit of Star Wars really coming to the forefront. And like it not the B movie with Jerry Seinfeld, the B, the letter movie. And just with the way that
but okay.
Right. We'll get there. I think that eventually we'll have like a tiny little Star Wars insect in a relationship with a grown ass woman. That'll happen. But I think that this is sort of like a your mileage will vary type thing, right? When you see arguments break out about spins, and
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Yeah, first of all, let's not act like that didn't happen. Let's not act like Palpatine didn't do a corkscrew over his desk. Yeah, Scotty Durrell laying it out. Yeah, with a dragon scream and shit. So it's like I feel like this is confronting a lot of the viewers, like the show has in general. Boba Fett has this legacy of being the stoic man with no name archetype of just as few words as possible. Even Vader has to tell him to chill in their first appearance. Really sells him as this force of nature type killer. And this show has done so much to show you the humanity and the broken child that is Boba Fett. So you get small moments that are really funny, like a bantha, like to show that he like can connect with people in his own awkward way. And that comes from being a broken child. So I love all of like the apotheosis of that, like telling Cad, that's true. He didn't invent this man. The apotheosis of Cad telling him like, I am not a little boy any longer. Like when they have that means so much. And especially because Cad invokes his father and using the gappy stick. So I think that where he ends up, I know that last scene, like has been mentioned, was a little bit strange of, is it literally him saying, I don't think I'm cut out for this? I think it's more so that he doesn't feel he fits. I don't think he's contemplating. I think he's still secure in the role, but so much of it worked for me. I mean, I get why there are bigger storytelling conversations happening about, is it okay to take a show named after a character and then pivot away? Like example, Kenobi's coming up. If Kenobi has an episode that's all Uncle Owen or something like that, you know, which like, hey, Joel Edgerton's a damn good actor. So it's
all Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, could happen, but
It could.
something like that. I think that my mindset is you cannot train viewers to accept a new season format unless you just do it. And the first person to do it, this case, it's Jon Favreau with Dave, right there in his corner. They will take heat for it. So to do a season of television that just pivots away is a big swing. Even if we do pivot to somebody that we already know and love because they have their own show like Din Djarin, it's still a big swing. And it's, I've compared it to two things. One, Empire, just Sloth, ladies and gentlemen. That's true. We are very cool.
There's a lot of cool people. And Bill's here too.
And Bill's here too. Yeah.
That's totally true.
We decided that no one was gonna come for Bill's birthday party, and we didn't want that to happen. So we came.
Thank you. That's very sweet. I appreciate it.
We go to like 1980. I wasn't there. None of us were there. But you hear all the time like sequels back in old Hollywood were just, let's just do the first movie again. And Empire Strikes Back was the first sequel that came around and said, no, you need to see that first one. This is a middle chapter. And people reacted to Empire by saying, this is so different. This isn't like the fun one. And it doesn't even have an ending. But you trained them. And that changed Hollywood. 2008, 2012. You trained people to accept that Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and Thor and First Avenger and Iron Man 2 were all going to lead to this thing on good faith. Star Wars is now trying their own audience training. I would not be shocked in the slightest if Andor has an episode that is all Merrick or General Draven or Bail Organa. I would not be shocked at all if Ahsoka has an episode that is all ghoulish CG Luke Skywalker. I would not be surprised.
There's
no ghoulish like the difference between Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian and Luke Skywalker here is night and
astronomical.
Day. It's like oh shit, that's Mark Hamill in 1930.
It is a like ungodly jump forward.
It really is.
It's like ridiculous, but so that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think that we're witnessing a moment where by the time a couple more shows do this, we'll just realize that's what Star Wars shows do. And it won't be a conversation anymore.
It's a larger narrative now.
Like, and we'll know like things like the twins. I agree. I would have loved to have known what that storyline was in its fullest form. Did they leave strategically? Did they, what is their connection? Are they Zero's nephews? What is it like on Nal Hutta? What are they thinking about Boba Fett? What is their play? But at the same time, I also have to trust the storytellers and meet them in the middle and imagine that maybe Din Djarin shows up on Nal Hutta in the next season and then he pays for Boba's sins. Like these interconnected
friends. I didn't even think of that.
And like
just anything like that,
Here's the thing. Bad Batch is coming. So like
Bad Batch is coming too, which I fully expect Cad to be in again.
Totally.
And that they'll probably put the unused animatics in the context of that. It would not surprise me at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if doing the Book of Boba Fett is to position an ally that has this daimyo status. That way, when the taking of Mandalore comes, and it will, Din and Bo-Katan can turn to him and say, "Hey, we know you don't really care, but your dad cared.
Right.
Will you put your power behind us?" type thing. So all of that, I think, is larger conversations. The action I thought was really fun and silly in a good way. Boba Fett hitting the ballerina yoga tree pose and firing the knee rockets at the same time was incredible.
Full Cobra Kai. Full Cobra Kai.
Super Cobra Kai. And the last thing I want to give a shout out to is I love when battles in film and television tell tiny stories inside of the battle, mini little arcs for characters that are like maybe C or D in terms of the priorities list. And Lord of the Rings was great with that, where Lord of the Rings, sometimes you would track an orc that was not important to the story, but you would just constantly cut to them. Or, obviously these are main characters, but Gimli and Legolas with their ongoing body count of who gets more kills in the battles. Those things that are not part of the story, but they flesh things out. And I thought that Joe from Freetown and Drash having this country girl versus city girl sort of rivalry happening in the last battle.
And also gonna get together at some point. Definitely.
I mean,
big Billie Eilish saying, "Let's go, lesbians."
Look, if I can't hope,
let's
if
go,
if I can't be with Drash, then it might as well be Joe.
I know that's true. That's
So-
true. And I want to take a time out real quick because last week we did a special drinking game. Whenever we said some specific words, and like I've been playing it, but I don't know if you guys have. But this is an optional drinking game. You don't have to do this if you don't want to.
Did I say the words?
Every time anyone says Spins, Robert
boy.
Rodriguez,
Oh,
or Cad Bane, you have to take a sip of your drink.
wow. That's
Which
powerful.
It's truly, honestly, truly. And, Connor, I want to get to you here in a second, but I haven't heard a lot from my co-host. I know
You heard a lot from me 2 hours ago.
No, I don't think we did. Like, and I want to hear
The
from
people
you.
haven't. Yeah, the people.
The people have not. People are saying that Trey Mitchell has some
Multiple
thoughts.
sources.
Multiple sources are confirming that Trey
Okay,
Mitchell has
yeah.
thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett. Trey. It's a great. Listen. Trey, the people are saying
I
that
gotta
you have.
go.
No, I said I told them I could skywalk through the league, and they said
said,
no,
"No,
you
you
can't
can't
you
do
can't
it.
skywalk
You
through the
can't do it.
league, and I
Only
said
Trey.
I could skywalk through the league better than anyone.
Jesus.
Better than anyone. Okay.
I think my favorite thing to come from this episode, and I say this ironically, is the Boba Fett theme that played during the credits. So that just Boba Fett.
Oh, this is the
Boba
best.
Fett, and I cringe, but I also love it at the same time. It's a very love-hate thing at the same time. But this episode was fine. It was okay. I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying it. The things that worked for me were Boba Fett, Din Djarin, and Grogu. I thought they were all great. Grogu just continues to take my heart whenever he's on screen. I saw a bunch of TikToks of Grogu walking, and the caption was like, "On my way to steal your girl," and it was just amazing stuff. And just Din and Boba fighting the Pikes was so good. They were so badass, just having their backs to each other, shooting their knee rockets and their wrist rockets, and doing all the Mandalorian stuff.
I don't remember Din having knee rockets. Is that a new thing? I
I'll
always
have to go back
remember.
and watch.
Okay, I have to go back and watch. But keep going.
Well, I'm getting called out. But yeah, the episode was a mixed bag for me. There was some good stuff, some bad stuff. Really liked I guess the bad stuff for me was more of the action. I didn't love the action, but the main plot stuff, Boba Fett's journey, really worked for me, and that's the heart of this season, this episode. So in that sort of context, it worked for me. But there was some stuff that didn't. The spin did work for me. I am not anti-spin, so I want to put that on record.
This is a no spin zone. No,
Yeah.
this is
This is a very spin zone. If
rephrase
Connor
that.
wants to get up and spin it at any point, he can happily
rephrase
do
that. Let me rephrase this. This is a full spin zone.
it. Full spin zone, yeah.
Hold on.
Okay. Don't know what that means. But yeah, so those are my thoughts.
I'm sorry, like I don't mean to cut in, but like it just while
Yeah,
we're
you
on
do.
it again,
Shut up.
like
What are you talking
I do,
about?
I do.
Like,
Like,
yes, you do. I don't mean to interrupt, but yes, I do mean to interrupt.
I don't mean to interrupt, but here it is. If you're listening to this or watching it and you are legitimately mad about the spin, just like take a step back
Fuck off.
and like
Holy
I-
Chikiti is back.
like first of all, yeah, fuck off.
like 2
I don't
seconds.
think that I don't think you should be able to vote. I'll say it. I think that we should. I think that
See,
we
I
should
think-
But
rescind.
Alden,
I
I'm
thought
really
you were about
mad
to go
about 2
Tom
seconds of
Cruise.
a television show.
I thought you were about to go full Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Take a step
Take a
back.
step back and literally fuck your own face.
Keep going.
Flaming dragon. Yeah, I just watched that last night actually. I just feel like when you again, I think that's he did use a swear. He used a naughty word. I think that when you write things out in Star Wars, like there was a certain editor of a certain website that posted the clip and he had motion smoothing on, so it looked like shit anyway. But when you do stuff like that, I encourage people to take a piece of paper, and I've said this before. I said this in chapter 2. When you take chapter 2 and you write down Boba Fett with the same sand people that you've known since New Hope that we now know are the Tuscans of the Dune Sea, takes a lizard in his nose that is basically drugs and goes on a spirit journey.
We've all been there.
When you write that out, it's silly. So when you write this out, you've got 2 essentially Iron Men type characters, a ninja assassin, a walking carpet, a bunch of cyborg teens,
Couple of green pigs.
two pigs, and a bunch of cowboys and farmers. And you're going to tell me that the silliest thing is that one of those people spins. This is the wrong franchise for you.
So
It just
like,
is.
Agreed. 100%.
And I definitely want to get into this because I saw a lot of takes of like, oh, I no longer think Robert Rodriguez is the right person to dive into Star Wars. With all due respect, no. What are you talking about? I think Robert
He directed
Rodriguez.
my favorite episode of The Mandalorian. So
Exact-
I feel very conflicted about it.
So, whenever you get a director like Robert Rodriguez, take a drink. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Pauses for everyone to take a
Pause for
drink.
everybody to take a drink. Like that's what you're getting. The style of Robert is what makes the Book of Boba
This
Fett work.
episode was very Spy Kids.
It
Yeah.
really was.
Extremely,
Listen,
extremely.
do you ever think God looks down on
Because he too lives in
the
fear
of
of
his
what he's
creation?
created.
Like, it's so. My initial reaction to seeing that spin was, "Oh, that's pretty fucking cool." Like,
Yeah.
I never understood. Like, as soon as I saw somebody complain about it, I was like, "What are you talking about? That's cool." Now, my dear sister, I don't know how many Robert Rodriguez movies you've seen, and
Oh yeah.
Virtually none, I think.
I think
don't know.
we've seen all the Spy Kids movies together.
Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah.
So that's
So,
3.
like
That's already a
that's
lot.
definitely
Oh,
3.
great.
I think we saw 2.
We don't have time about it.
We saw
Spy
2
Kids
of them in
3D.
Florida. We saw Spy Kids 3D in Florida together,
No, we did.
and
We
I think we
did.
might have seen 2 in
Florida
Florida
gang.
together too.
Anyway, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Did anything that that director
Uh-huh.
did his style make you feel like it wasn't Star Wars, or did you feel that it worked for him?
I mean, it felt like Star Wars. I can't believe we've been talking about a spin for like, I don't know how long we've been talking about the spin, but we've been talking about it for much longer than is necessary. And I don't
Too
understand
long.
what the problem is. It was just a bit of choreography. It doesn't fucking matter. It's fun.
Yeah, people use stuff like this to disguise the fact that they're not thinking about themes.
Cool.
It's Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That's
It's Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's Desperado. It's these 3 movies called Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
Exactly. I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
I also
Like,
saw somebody say, "Well, look at any of the blaster shots in Rogue One or Solo." Oh, you mean Solo, where Lando
Because
is
doing crazy
dual
spins.
pistoling and then throws Hans in the air and the gun spins and Han catches it and is still able to. That wasn't extra. Lando couldn't have been like, here. Like, sometimes you gotta put style on it. Like, what is wrong with that?
You know what my favorite thing about Solo was? It had really good lighting. You know what else has really good lighting? Lauren's background.
Oh,
Lauren,
Lord Romo.
what's going on? Look what's happening. Lauren, how you doing?
What up, fam?
Wow.
What
Oh,
up?
we
What's
out
going
here,
on?
baby. We
This
out.
really
here.
is Endgame.
We really-
It
I have
truly
one more
is.
spot.
On your left, Eldon.
Stream
We
Yard
have
Max
one
is out
more.
of 10.
It's gonna be fun.
Lord
We're gonna
Romo
figure-
was Captain Marvel coming through the ship.
That's
Hey,
right.
Peter Parker.
What's up, Peter? What's going on, Peter? What's going
So-
on? I heard spinning, and then my head was started spinning, and I was like,
Is,
"Oh, dear
is
God."
spinning a good trick? Did spinning in Book of
Listen.
Boba Fett not work for you?
If you don't like spinning, kids, you can spin right off because I really don't care. Like that's the dumbest nitpick to take ever. Is spinning a character spinning? Did Mando not spin in this episode? Like, I don't know, a few times when him and Boba were fighting. I'm pretty sure he did. So
did.
like
He
one guy piss you off about spinning? I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway,
I don't either.
that's my spinning tape.
You know, I think though also like a lot of people just had it in so much for those characters in particular that
Yeah.
100%.
and nitpick whatever they could.
The mods.
And yeah, and they just like they took that opportunity to just forget, as Connor pointed out earlier today, that Star Wars is fucking corn. Sorry, it's
No, you can cut.
How
Sorry.
dare
You all
you?
may or may not
On
be
this
watching
fucking
it.
show?
See
How
what
dare you.
Connor did.
But
Connor
Star
has
Wars is
started a
corny. It
whole
has
thing.
always
set the
been
bar.
corny, you know, and like, but I am of the belief that A New Hope is kind of, it is 90% corny, and I still love it.
Mhm.
And I don't know what people expect this franchise to be. I don't
Oh my
understand
God.
like why it's supposed to be like high art cinema, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick, Bill.
What's up?
Happy birthday, pal.
Thank you, Lauren.
Happy
Appreciate
birthday.
you.
Happy birthday.
26 for the second time. Never felt so good.
Nice.
Riding that 26 train. I'm
Riding-
with it.
listen,
I'm riding.
I will say this until the pandemic is over, which could be until 2045.
Dear
The age
God.
the age you go into the pandemic is the age that you come out of the pandemic. I was
That's
26
fair.
when it started.
Oh, sweet.
I'm 26.
I'm still 21. Holy shit.
There you go.
I think that makes me 24. 23, 24. Wow.
Are we just doing like a whole like in Star Wars, like it's post like, you know, the Battle of Yavin? Is it like now post
Yes.
pandemic? Like, is this where we're starting?
It
Like,
Yep.
feels that way.
a whole thing, right? Is this what
I-
we're doing?
it doesn't feel post yet, you know.
No, oh no, right. We're still
no, it feels like we're still
in it.
we're in the middle of the Death Star, and we're trying to.
No, this is the Dark Ages. Like Order 66 happened. Like now we're just trying to figure it out.
Trying to yeah,
We're just
absolutely.
Grogu repressing all of our past trauma.
For
Order
sure.
66 memories. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. You know, we've talked about, you know, God, I don't want to have to say his name, but the director of this episode,
Robert Rodriguez. Is that what you're trying to say?
Lauren. God damn it!
Sorry, kids.
I'm running out of water,
I'm
you
just-
guys.
I know Michael's
I'm
running
just-
out of water.
I'm just here to make everybody drink. I'm sorry. I did that last
Just
time,
like
too.
last episode. God damn it.
Is
I
Ben
have-
Solo a word again? Please say it. is.
No, we will
Ben
not
Solo
drink this
is not
time.
a word. And so the time out for a second. My sister's back. Good for her. The words are Spins, Robert Rodriguez,
You can't
and
just
Cad
say
Bane.
them.
I'm no,
That
you don't have to
doesn't
drink
count.
right now. You don't. It doesn't count right now.
Now that I know the words, we're.
We've
you
been
guys are
talking a
good.
little bit about, like, you know, stylistic choices of the director of this episode and the executive producer. We've talked about what we liked. I kind of want to dive into what I didn't like, and so I think one of the main things that I did not like was the lack of Fennec Shand, and I think a couple of us have some opinions on that. I think that there was a criminal underuse of Fennec in this episode. Like, sure, like there was stuff for her to do. She killed the main bosses, which is like that's in theory is a humongous thing to do for her, but like the majority of the episode is focused on, you know, Boba Fett, Din, the big droids.
I think they're like Scorponecks or something like that.
Which is it's unused Attack of the Clones droids, which is really
Big
cool.
droidicas.
A big exactly big
typically.
droidicas, the biggest droidicas, if you will. So that didn't work for me. What didn't work for everybody else? And I want to start with Connor because Connor, I know we haven't really heard from you.
Oh boy, here it comes.
I just want to say first of all.
So
with the
what do you
whole
think
space-
about? So do you think Darth Maul will show up in the Kenobi series?
No.
or do you?
No, okay. I actually won't.
No, okay.
I won't.
We'll
That's
save
a
that
chug.
for later.
That's a
We'll
chug.
save
That
that
was
for
like-
later.
That was like 3 seconds of anger that I shouldn't have released.
Okay.
But
I
like
got
also
Bully
this whole
Chiquiti.
spin thing, like the people complaining about the spin, I'm gonna spin my foot up your ass. So Red
I'm
Foreman
clipping that.
style.
That is going on Skywalking.
That was so
Twitter.
red for yeah.
You
that was
know-
good.
I'm writing that on my
we've gotten to a point where it's bad when Connor is just openly swearing now.
He's
This is-
unleashed.
There's this
bad.
version of Connor that's been on Twitter this past week that some people call Spider-Man 3 when Tobey Maguire goes crazy. Bully Maguire. I call this Bully Chiquiti.
There's
He is
some
just
like I swear to God, like Connor in our in Goon Squad, the group chat that some of us are in here, like he truly, like Connor is usually one of the nicest people in the world, but like something is snapped in Connor.
Is
You
it fair
all
to say-
enabled this.
I
Is
did
it
not.
fair to say that Connor is like the Cad Bane of your group now? He's just killing everybody.
no.
Nah,
No.
I would
I
say
don't-
no.
Who would you-
Speaking
who
of Cad
would you
Bane,
describe as
actually,
Connor
Lauren,
is Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, he's Black Cranston is the people are calling him.
Speaking of Cad Bane, because like there's not really much I didn't like in this episode. Like I agree with the criminal underuse of Fennec Shan, criminal. And like I kind of agree with Trey's. I agree with Trey's point of like how it just kind of dragged just a bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it kind of did, but like Cad Bane, fantastic. I loved him. Just like I'm gonna probably put my reaction out there to the public of just his death because to his death. Spoilers. Actually, screw it. If you haven't seen it, that's your fault.
Yeah, no, full spoilers. Here, I
Bully
don't care.
Chiquiti.
Yeah. Well, this isn't bully Chiquiti. This is just me being.
What's the matter with you?
He-
You're so stupid.
He wants to put a little dirt in your eye.
Tahiti.
He wants to put a little dirt, a lot of dirt in your eye more than anything.
Dirt in our eyes.
Bill. I cannot, like, truly just, over, like, I can't vault over just the beautiful poetry of that line. I can't. That is an all-time line. I cannot surpass that. Cannot. But
I think you
anyway,
can. Keep
Cad
going.
Bane, really liked him.
Mhm.
Not really much I didn't like in this episode. I like Robert Rodriguez's style.
Why would you say you fucking bitch?
I'm out of water.
God.
I like that director's style a lot in Star Wars. It's very stylistic, I think is the right word to use. And I think it fits in Star Wars. Sure, it's wacky, but like Star Wars is wacky. What else do you expect? Like Star Wars is equal parts wacky and equal parts serious.
It needs to be everything. I mean, I people that have come at me on Twitter talking about tones. It needs to be
Come at all
everything.
on Twitter. What?
Very foolishly.
Same.
It has to be everything from Revenge of the Sith to Resistance. It has to be everything from Ewoks to Palpatine. It has to be all things. And this episode, I thought, gave us some of the most, like to Connor's point about how it was so Star Wars. Like it had all those elements. It gave us, I think, some of the best lines, the best singular lines in all of Star Wars. Off the top of my head, the exchange with Din and Boba of the "You really believe in that bantha fodder?" And he's like, "I do," and he's like, "Good." That I think that Cad Bane's lines when he goes, "I all depends on how much your two stomachs can bear. I was like, oh shit, this got serious. And then the best one, which I have pulled up here so I get the wording right. If you refuse these terms, the arid sands of Tatooine will once again flourish with flowered fields, fertilized with the bodies of your dead. First of all,
was the
Boba being
best.
like aggressive scribbling, like, I'm gonna give them a fucking poem that'll tell them how I feel.
Speaking
It's
of
the best.
of the Major Domo and Pele, are they gonna bang?
I got
Oh,
it.
yeah.
like
They're gonna
Oh,
bang.
like
They're gonna
like
bang.
full on, like as soon as that happened, I was like,
on.
like, okay, if you think that they're gonna bang, say aye. There are currently, let's see, 7 people. Say aye. All in favor, say aye.
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 Which is very fun. Which is very, very fun for me. Yeah, it's.
I have some thoughts on.
Go ahead,
the-
Lord.
I did like the series overall. Was it perfect? No, but that's okay. To me, it was just big, fun, dumb Star Wars. It was just, had great action, had some great lines, like Alden was saying. It had some really good moments of, seeing, like for me, Luke and Ahsoka on the same freaking frame.
Mm-hmm.
Still blowing my mind.
That's
Like
true.
it's still blowing my mind that we got that, But I'm with you, Bill, as far as Fennec. Like I feel like she was definitely underused. And I literally just got off of our episode recap and I was talking to my cousin. And she brought up a good point that I actually didn't really think of. Like, yeah, they could have used her definitely better in many ways. But like it wasn't as if Boba wasn't listening to her. Like they did give her some really like empowerful moments of like him listening to her and like not just like, letting go whatever she says and not like listening to her advice. Like they did give her those moments throughout the series, albeit not many, but they did give her those type of moments, which was cool to see. And then obviously the very end of her saying like, if not us, then who? That's a big line.
It is.
That's a huge line.
And it's probably quantity or quality over quantity.
Yes.
But like,
Yeah.
it's still it feels at the same time. Jared,
Hi,
what's up,
Jared.
buddy? Listen, it does feel that like, the whole episode we got a lot of Din, we got a lot of Boba, we got a lot of Cad, we got a lot of the other people. It just it felt like she was second, like she was second build in the show, and
For
like,
sure.
and we didn't see a lot.
It
of
felt
her.
like a
And
script
apparently
real
on
estate
posters
thing, right?
too, that she was.
And there
Oh,
have
Postergate.
I didn't want to
True.
bring that up.
There have been some criticisms that like, hey, you have 2 people of color in as your 2 leads, and like, sure, you get a lot of Tim, but you don't get a lot of Ming Na Wen, which is,
Yeah.
I think,
It's
why
kind of
we.
a shame.
It
Because
is a
it's not
shame.
when.
My only consolation is that, like, I know with Disney, there's no way that she didn't sign a multiple series
Oh,
contract.
100%.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
And so, like, you going off of that, say I'm going to go around the panel and try to see how many people think that we're going to get at least a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, or if we're going to see these characters more. So Trey, do you think we're going to get season 2 of Book of Boba Fett? Say aye.
I don't know if it's going to be the Book of Boba Fett, but it's going to be like some sort of continuation. Like I almost think it's going to be like the Marshal of Tatooine or something like that, because we got a hint of Cobb.
Thank you for that. I'm going
Yeah.
to talk about that here in a second. That's good.
Yep. But I mean, I think we're definitely going to see more Boba Fett, definitely more Fennec Shand. And I agree with everyone here that like, I think Fennec, I would have loved to see Fennec have a bigger role in this series. I think we've got a really good amount of her between this and Bad Batch, but more Fennec is always good for me. But yeah, there are a lot of characters. Like we were talking on Jared's podcast earlier, like how crazy is it that a character from the comic books, Black Chrysanthemum, is now in Fortnite? Like, what world are we living in where Black Chrysanthemum is doing like the Fortnite dances and stuff like that? It's just wild, man.
And can we
So,
just
yeah.
talk about, like, I think I mentioned it on your guys' episode for the previous Book of Boba Fett episode, but the fact that we got a Western standoff between a book character who's only introduced in the interludes of a trilogy versus a very notable animated character in Cad Bane. Like,
shout out Chuck Wendig.
Yeah.
And now I don't think Annie knows this, but Timothy Oliphant's character Cobb Vanth was first introduced in the first Star Wars novel.
Pretty controversial book too.
It was the first Star Wars novel before The Force Awakens. Aftermath.
Controversial.
He was introduced
if you can consider that, it was not perceived too highly.
It wasn't, but
but those are mostly for writing style things.
Yeah, and you know,
it has a really weird, like, what's the English term? Is it like first person? Second. It has a weird second person. Exactly, second person.
Or it was that, or it was
style.
written in present tense. It was one.
Yeah, it like threw people for Star Wars, and then the other two in the trilogy were like, nope. Do it a different way.
These are normal books.
Yeah.
True, and I think I want to keep going around because we've got a lot of people to talk to. Theron, is there anything that didn't work for you specifically, or what did you think that didn't work for you? Like, would you want more Finnick? Do you think that we're going to see a season 2? What do you think?
The series overall, the only thing I did really have, like, I guess problems with was just like lack of Fennec, just because I don't know, there's, as much as I love Boba Fett, there's times I'm like, no, she's the most interesting bounty hunter, just give her own thing. But in terms of like season 2, I can see it going down two ways. I like the idea of a season 2 and they just kind of become like these crime lord like liberators. Like, I don't know, I have this concept in my head, they're like, it's like, oh, well, we saved Tatooine from these like horrible, crime lords. Like, what's the next planet we can like get rid of crappy leadership? Because I'm like, that's just something they do. But another thing I can see it going, if they just end Book of Boba Fett here, they don't get their own series. I've thought about this a lot. A lot of people have a problem with characters like Din, Luke, and Ahsoka coming into Book of Boba Fett. I'm totally okay with 2 or 3 episodes being taken away from Din. Like Mando season 3, give us 2 episodes that are just about Boba and Fennec. Like same with Ahsoka. Like give us 2 episodes just about Sabine. Like
I 100% think it'll happen too. Such a good call.
Absolutely. But those are my 2 ideas of how it's going to go. Either we're getting a season 2 and it's going to be kind of similar to how we've seen this one. We're going to see Cobb Vanth. We're going to see Din making his return and everything. Or they're just going to be interweaved in all the further stories we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like this whole Mandoverse, which is like I wish there was more like I wish there was a term for it that was like less cringe besides Mandoverse.
I can't.
Like
stand
we're
it
gonna have what?
I said I also can't stand it.
Yes,
I know it
drives me crazy.
Yeah, but like I think we're definitely gonna get these characters going back and forth, between these shows. A season 3 of The Mandalorian is definitely gonna have Boba Fett, definitely gonna have Bo-Katan, probably more characters that we haven't even thought of yet. But yeah, Reagan, where would you kind of like to see this show going forward? Do you think there's going to be a season 2? You team more Fennec? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. I'm not really sure. Like, only that Andor is already filming. It's not part of this universe, but only that it's filming a second season. Do I consider that? Because I feel like they're going to do all of these series as a one shot to introduce the characters, and then at some point after that, everything is just going to be, I think it's going to be kind of an amalgamated story, where everybody has like kind of a part in it, because it doesn't seem like, I agree with what Alden says, that I do think that with every series we're going to see 1 or 2 episodes that completely pivot and are centered on somebody else. And I think because of that, like I feel like I don't know that it makes sense to give a lot of these other series a second series when it just seems like they're building to something much bigger where everyone is going to have a part in it. I could be wrong, but it seems like, because I'm not articulating this well, but one of my main criticisms, I would say, of of Book of Boba is that it just kind of stopped. It started to world build and it started to build on a story, and then it kind like it pivoted dramatically and never really came back. But I think that is ultimately because it's going to branch out into something else. I think
Mhm.
all of that world building and character building will pay off later. But I also just think that they left this in a place where it's not super compelling to come back. Like I definitely
Mhm.
want to see more of Boba's story. I want to see more of Fennec's story. I want to see more of the Mod story. But I don't necessarily know that I want to see it in that town. I don't
Mhm.
think that I just don't think they left it in a place where
Well,
no, go ahead.
speaking of how it ended, you know, in Trey, when before you after you left Knights of the Nerd Academy, the episode that we recorded, we talked about how it ended, how the episode or how the season ends, where it kind of ends on a kind of a hunky dory, like, oh yeah, we're all eating melons and we're giving it to the Wookiee and nobody else gets it, and like it's all everything's happy. Do you guys think it's too happy? The point that I would make is that like the first season of it or the first episode of anything, whether it be the Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Force Awakens, it always ends on a hopeful note. So like, but then at the same time, like the next episode starts on a pretty like terrifying, like with the Last Jedi. It's um, you know, the First Order's coming and we have to leave right now. It's Empire Strikes Back. They're coming to Hoth. They're going to defeat us.
Mhm.
Attack of the Clones. You know, it sure the first episode or the first season or episode ends on a hopeful note, but like the second season or episode is always pretty like dire. Do you think that if they do a second season of Book of Boba Fett, do you think that they lean into the direness that they've traditionally done with Star Wars, or do you think that like this is it is just a one off? And let's start with Michael. What do you think, or whoever wants to go?
I can I
Go
can
ahead, Lauren.
start.
No, go, Michael. Go, Michael. I
Oh,
can
I was
talk.
just gonna say, I don't think it necessarily has to be that sort of grim dark if they do a season two. Just because, again, I think we're entering an era where all these shows are going to be very connected. I don't think there's a guarantee that Boba and Fennec are even going to be staying on Tatooine and
Mhm.
sticking with this story. So I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. I think it's entirely possible. If they do stay on Tatooine, there's storylines you can go in with maybe the survivors of like the Trandoshans and the Klatooinians and Aqualish and all that trying to regain power, or they could do what people thought was going to happen and have Crimson Dawn come in. Twins could come back. There's a lot of ways you could go with it. I don't think it has to be any certain way per se, though. That's what I'll say about it.
Lauren, what do you
Hmm.
think?
So, it's interesting, like, how, when you talk about how the show ended on that note of, like, he tosses the Melu run to Black Chrysanthemum, it gave me such, like, a Clone Wars vibe to, like, how those episodes would go, like, like, Anakin and Obi or whoever, stuff was going on. They had to, help a village or something. And then by the end of that episode, everybody, possibly, or by the end of that arc, everybody was, in a good mood, good spirits, cheering. So it kind of gave me that vibe. And I think the whole series on a whole, I know a lot of people have brought that up as well. It gave me Clone Wars vibes, just how it was, how it was presented. Maybe the first 4 episodes were all Boba. Then we kind of went to Din, but it's still connected into Boba's story, right? As we know. And then it connects to the bigger story of Boba and him against the Pikes and everything like that. So maybe, again, Andrew and I were talking about this on our show, like the show, maybe the presentation of the show could have been just tweaked just a bit. But I think overall, for me, it gave me that kind of Clone Wars vibes of like, or
Mhm.
how they structured it for me, and it was
Hmm.
okay. Like because I've watched Clone Wars, like many of us, like I didn't see it as too jarring, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
made sense. It was okay. It was a little different to see maybe in live action than animation, but it still kind of fit for me. I don't know
Mhm.
I don't know how if you guys felt the same way or not.
No,
I just think like so I'm showing my girlfriend Star Wars for like the first time essentially. So we're on Clone Wars right now, and we're gonna just lead up. But I think the thing that's different between this show and Clone Wars is like 21 episodes per season. So like I feel like if the Book of Boba was maybe 10 episodes or so, we wouldn't have such an issue. Not we, but like the general fan wouldn't have such an issue with like these interludes of like Din Djarin happening and Grogu and Luke Skywalker. Whereas like we get Din in episode 5, Din and Grogu and Luke in episode 6, and then the end is Boba. And it kind of just feels like we kind of rushed to that moment.
That's a good point.
I just think I would have liked this season more if it was just a few more episodes. Like I think they could have established some more plot points, especially with, in my opinion, the Rancor and Boba's relationship. Like I feel like a lot of that happened off screen because we saw with Danny Trejo that like he was like the Rancor is a really good, it's a good guy or girl. It just needs time to bond with its kind of main person, and I don't feel like we saw that bonding, but it's okay. I just think this show might have benefited a little bit more with a few more episodes, but that's
It definitely would have helped with the pacing issues for sure.
Yeah,
totally,
Good point.
totally.
Which is why I think it's exciting that Andor has 12. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
12
cannot
is
wait for that
freaking
show.
beautiful.
Oh.
That's
Is.
great.
It is.
Oh,
All of it.
Weekly too. We get 3 months of Cassian.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. Alden, what do you think?
I think that the formatting conversation again is such a big, wide open. It's sort of like the Wild West. Like this is the next thing. Is it binge model? Is it weekly model? And they've settled on weekly, but now they're throwing a wrench in that. Like yes, it's weekly, but are certain things just going to be interludes? Like I don't know anything, but I could see them doing like we had Mando 2, Book of Boba Fett. I could see Mando 3, the Book of Bo-Katan, then Mando 4, and then the Book of Fennec Shand. Like whatever they want to do.
The Book of Grogu.
The Book of Grogu or something, anything that establishes that you will see Din weave in and out and Grogu weave in and out, but it's for this world. The Book of Sabine Wren or anything like that which would just send me into another
Why would you
galaxy.
say
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I would fall out of my chair. I'd become Vince McMahon meme if that was happening. But the whole idea of it ending on that note, which is very Clone Wars, to Lauren's point, and the way that it backs up, it panning up from them though, and ending on Din's theme music as they flew away, I think was the show telling the viewer, hey, if it wasn't clear enough what we were doing, we're back on A track now. And I think that, and I understand, like, my illustrious, wonderful, incredible genius collaborator, Tori Fox, is like the biggest Boba Fett fan ever. I understand why she's been having a hard time with it. And I understand the conflict, because if this is your guy, I totally get it. If they gave me that Sabine Wren show and then they pivoted away from her, I know I'm going to be a little frustrated. It's a natural thing when you don't know what you're expecting. But I think that if it is Book of Boba Fett season 2, or if it is, let's explore them in other contexts, I think the beauty is that there's still so much story to tell with everybody. You look at Grogu. Yes, he made his choice, and some people would say, "Wow, that was too quick." They weren't separated long enough at all between the rescue and now, and I get that. But my argument against that would be, well, we lost Han at the end of Empire, and we got him back in the first 30 minutes of Jedi. It doesn't diminish. It doesn't diminish the ending of Empire. Thor lost Mjolnir, and he lost his eye, and he got Stormbreaker and a new eye in the very next movie he was in. I don't think that characters unlearn lessons in the same way that audiences unsee status quo changes. I think those are very different things, the diegetic storytelling versus, what's actually going on. But when it comes to Grogu, like, he made that choice, but now it unlocks a whole new story path, because the Mando, the armor, told Din Djarin that you're illegitimate now. You're not a Mandalorian any longer unless you go to the mines underneath Mandalore and blah, 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 take a bath, whatever it was.
Mines of Moria.
The Mines of Moria, essentially, Khazad-dûm. And he didn't confirm either way if that's where he wants to go, but he left. His loves the Darksaber. But now he's got his son back. And his son is what motivated him to be an Oathbreaker in the first place. So now it's like, I have my boy back with me. Do I still go to these mines? So you have that journey. But then with Boba and Fennec doing that stroll, you know, it's the comedy because Tem has such good comedic timing and it's a cute scene. But it makes me think of Game of Thrones, like a man that thinks that winning and ruling are the same thing, and they're not. It is much harder to stay number one than it is to become like, because now it's like everyone was expecting Kira, and I was too. I was totally that guy. But now that Boba is firmly in charge and has beaten the Syndicate, that makes him a legitimate threat to other powers. And I think that that puts him on Thrawn's radar. That puts him on Kira's radar. That makes him have to now struggle with the hard choices. Because, yes, he came out with the moral victory on Cad Bane. And when I've compared it to Rebel's twin sons, like the villain who can't change is trying to tell you who you are, but you have risen above. But at the same time, it was also Michael Corleone and The Godfather taking care of all family business via Fennec. He also slaughtered all of them in cold blood. He just didn't do it with his own hands. And that's the power of a character like Boba Fett. He's not Rey. He's not Ezra. He's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is still morally ambiguous, even if he is turning over a new leaf. So I think that there's a lot of potential to explore what what kind of decisions do you have to make when you're on the throne. There won't be sometimes an easy choice. You'll have to choose between two horrible options. And I think that choosing between two horrible options is sort of where you go. Kind of like when I was playing Fable 3 and I had to choose between establishing a brothel or an orphanage. And I thought to myself,
why not both?
And you couldn't have both. And this is his Fable 3 moment. So.
It is.
I like how Grogu, though, his little journey with Luke didn't go like he used what he's learned from Luke clearly to connect with the Rancor and everything. So like that side mission quest that he was with Luke is paying off and probably will pay off as we get further down. I think his journey too. So
yeah, size matters not. A baby is a baby.
Yep.
Grogu saw himself in that Rancor in the same way Boba saw himself in that Rancor, in the same way Boba saw himself in the mods. Like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of connection between him and Drash and Scad and them, but they are all youths, troubled youths, that did not choose what they
mods
were
are awesome.
given. Yeah, they didn't ask to be in the position that they're in. Just like he didn't ask to get made. It's like that Rocket Raccoon. I didn't ask to get made. That's Boba Fett. He was a contractually obligated creation as part of Jango Fett's payment. And Jango raised him as a son, but he is still this thing that exists to the periphery of anything. He's a Mandalorian, but not really. He's a clone brother, but not really. He's, Jango Fett's son, but only in Jango Fett's eyes. He's turning over a new leaf, but Cad Bane doesn't think so. It's just constantly having people gaslight you. And it reminds me a lot of WandaVision with Agatha and Wanda's relationship. Some people reduce that down to just an energy battle, and they're wrong. That was about one woman grieving and one woman telling her, you're not processing this right because this is what you are, right? And we all know those people in our lives. And I think that that's why Cad Bane had to get it. And it's that stuff that keeps us talking about this shit, right? It's not pew-pew and it's not spins. If it wasn't all this stuff, it wouldn't matter, unless Daisy Ridley was involved. I would watch a silent film with Daisy Ridley.
I mean, the pew-pews and stuff make it fun, but there's so much more beyond that. 100% agree with you, Alden.
Totally. Okay, let's see. What else can we
What do we think about the end credit sound with the Boba Fett song where they just chant Boba Fett?
My first reaction was I told Jasmine, like, oh, now it makes sense because with the Mandalorian, it's din 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 din.
Boom, 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 boom.
It was really corny, but I kind of liked it.
Like that's
I love it.
At the end of the day, that's Star Wars. Like it's made for fucking 12-year-olds. Like that's it.
I'm glad
it wouldn't
they
surprise
saved
me
it
if
for
this was
episode.
sung. Yes, and I think it's important that like it comes on a victory because now it's like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Now you know who you are, and now your name gets in the song, baby. And I would love it if like it was just the Ren Fair vibe at the end with the music. It was just one step away from having some guys with some string instruments singing the Boba song. That's what I want because the Imperial March is a song in canon. It exists in Star Wars and outside of Star Wars.
It's in a
I'm
minor
totally
or major
fine with
key.
that, by the way.
It's one of
in the major key.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people really didn't like that in Solo and in
That
Rebels
was so
when they.
stupid. Like that's
It was
I
in
loved
Rebels first, yeah.
It was in Rebels
Yeah.
first, yeah, and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
It's great
Um,
both times.
It
yeah.
was yeah.
But I want this song to be a song
Empire Day.
actually in canon. Even the Mandalorian theme. It would be cool if when they assemble eventually to try to take back Mandalore, if there's like
Played by Max Rebo.
there's some horns going and it's like that'd be metal. Hi Brian.
I just
Hey, bro.
want people. I just want people to see their Max Rapussy more than
Aw.
anything.
All up in that rebussy.
All
Yeah.
up in it. Like that's all I need for
Connor
season
is just disappointed right now.
two. Is just
He is.
Max
he has his
can't
hand to
die.
his
He's
face.
immortal.
Max is immortal, and he will like. I want to be all up in there with pussy.
Again, Max went out back
Rabussy.
for a smoke and to hang out with a
He
certain
did.
Twi'lek. He was out back behind the restaurant and he was like, "Oh shit, oh man."
Oh,
It's
this
really
shit
blowing
again.
up in there.
That
All right, I'm gonna go to Ord Mantell now for my next gig. Like, you
Let's go to
just
Mos
left.
Eisley.
Yeah,
talk to
yeah,
my agent about these gigs she keeps giving me.
dude, the gig economy.
The gig economy. Get out of here. The
It's
supply
horrible.
chain is just totally.
Can we I
Go
kind
ahead.
of just want to go around and we'll talk more about like the general season. Michael, overall, what did you think of this season? Was it successful for you? What were your overall thoughts? We've been talking about this one episode, but I kind of want to just gauge this whole season and see what our opinions are.
Yeah, it's weird because I think thematically this season works really well for me. Like I really like the idea of Boba going from just ruthless bounty hunter for hire or whatever to really finding his own personal identity, and you can only get so far without a tribe and all that, and having Cad Bane and like Connor's been going on about killing Cad Bane with the gaffy stick is such a perfect capstone to that. It really tied that all up well. It's really just the main plot that didn't totally work for me, especially with those first few episodes. Just the constant antagonist shifting and just some of the weird pacing. Because again, I like the idea of splitting between present day and flashbacks in those early episodes, but I feel like with just how we've spent time in each individual episode and how little episodes we had, it just didn't give us enough to really work with to flesh out this story as much as I would have liked. So it's mostly the surface level stuff where some of it's not really working for me. But again, that's as the series as a whole, because I want to really stress that in spite of my complaints, I loved every episode of the show. On the basis of each individual episode, just looking at it as an individual episode, not in how it connected to an overall piece. Every episode I had a friggin' blast watching. It was so much fun, but I just don't know how well it really all connects together in terms of an overall story.
Yeah. How about you, Alden?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I think that structurally, I was not, bothered or angry by it because I firmly believe in the ability for for shows and movies to just try stuff. We mentioned how we didn't get to see the Rancor relationship develop, and that's disappointing. But we also understand that TV can't just do that. I would love it if somebody had the balls to just do that. Just do an episode that is
whole
nothing
episode.
but the bonding. I want these that. And I mentioned WandaVision already. That's why I love that WandaVision was the first swing from Feihe for TV, because it started in ways that just completely told the viewer, get on board with what we're doing because it's not gonna change. We're doing it this way. And I love stuff like that. I love that in film. That's why I love that Taika's doing a movie. I'm all for them ironing out this format going forward. It's going to take some ironing out. It's going to take some kinks. I think that if they were going to do
Nice.
if they were going to do the book style, lots of people got really salty when I compared it to the Bible, which I never did. It's a formatics thing. Read sometime. I didn't say that Star Wars was like the Bible. I said that this pulls
Star
from
Wars
the
is
Bible.
the Bible, confirmed. from all
And
the
Star Wars
media.
also starts with
sources
a
confirmed.
it literally
All
starts
the-
with
Also,
a virgin
like the Bible.
birth. So if you don't like that, then that's your problem.
Virgins are cool, actually, says Star Wars.
Virgins are, hey man, it's like when you go to Rocky Horror and they put a V on your cheek. Like that's it.
Papa Tootie, bless my soul. I really love that rock and roll.
Wow, this conversation took turns
R.I.P.
that I did not
Meatloaf.
expect.
Anyway.
But yeah, so like for Maddox, I in the way that it's ironing out, I'm sure the next time they try this, it'll be even smoother. They'll find different little framing things, et cetera, et cetera. But as for, to Michael's point, like the content of it, this show, I liked all 7, in particular with 2, 5, 6, and 7 gave me 4 of my favorite individual slices of Star Wars that I've ever had, particularly 2. I think that I sometimes will just watch the ending of 2 with the ceremonial haka dance, and I just immediately am just moved, utterly, completely moved.
It just gets you pumped.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Like, I think the last piece of Star Wars that got me just that pumped at just an ending was the Village Bride and Visions. Just like
the Village
way
Bride
you get
is
so
just-
pumped
yeah.
at the end of it.
We need to do a whole episode on Visions.
We haven't done that yet, have
Yeah.
we? Well,
No.
that seems like another party. That's my next birthday.
My birthday. We can
Your
do
next
one.
26th
True.
birthday?
My next 26th birthday.
Next
yeah.
26.
Michael, the sources are telling me that I'm going to have another one next year.
Multiple sources have
Multiple
confirmed.
sources have confirmed.
Let me run that by Cinelinks real quick to make
Hold
sure.
Oh
Mike
my
Zero,
God.
could you please pop through?
The shots are
Mike,
being fired.
Mike, come through. Mike.
Hello, this is Mike Zero. Yes, I would like to confirm everything. Everything that you hear has been confirmed.
Here's the thing about Star Wars.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Chaos.
Total chaos. Any final thoughts?
Reagan?
I'm a very big all Star Wars is good Star Wars person, and I did enjoy the season. To go to Alden's point, the episode with the haka at the end of it was amazing because I feel like just knowing Tem's his own connection to his Modi culture and how how much it was a commentary about like colonization, even how other people come in and just rape lands and leave people completely desolate, and that is so like completely endemic of what's happened to his own people, and I'm very, very sure that he had a lot of input into that. I thought that was beautiful, and I was looking forward to seeing the show go in that direction because I thought it was it was very multi-layered social commentary for Star Wars to make, even though Star Wars is always really, really allegorical. And I know that that's not going to sustain like a wide berth of viewers for a really long time. So I understand why it branched off and did other things. I just feel like I loved the way it came full circle with the gaffy stick, even though considering that it wasn't actually Cad Bane that killed the Tuskens, it did feel like misplaced anger. Like it was a beautiful conclusion. I just missed the middle of it. I feel like there was so much more of his character development that we didn't really get because they had a limited amount of episodes and we had to get to a satisfying conclusion. But I really enjoyed it, and I also think that Tem has gotten such unfair criticism of his performance. Obviously from the same people who are putting bad takes everywhere. But I thought he was wonderful, and he was subtle, and like Alden said, like he was able to kind of evoke that excitement of someone who's just getting to experience the excitement of childhood as an adult. There was still a lot of innocence in him, even still grappling with the darkness and of his life and of his past. I would have loved to have seen, like everybody else said, I would have loved to have seen more of Fennec. I think she was really criminally underused. I think also Jennifer Beals as Garsa Fwip was very much a set piece. Like she had one or two really great interactions, like her interaction with Black Chrysanthemum was great. But what a waste to have her and just kind of and ultimately do nothing with her. That was very disappointing to me, but there were so many elements of the show that I loved and worked well individually. Do I necessarily think that it came together well? But I still really enjoyed it, and I thought the finale was really satisfying, and I'm the most over Grogu person ever, to the point where I consider myself a full-on Groguist, but even I thought it was very like the whole interaction with the Rancor and the Rancor nap was super adorable and very, very sweet. He did look more doll like than I feel like he's ever looked in the show in that episode, because every time somebody was carrying him, he was just so stiff. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I'm still very much looking forward to whatever direction they can take with every character. And I loved the post credits specifically because I felt like Thundercat, like no matter what direction they gave him, but like just like to ignite that tool, like no matter what direction they gave him, he was 100% in that moment, like a 5-year-old kid igniting a toy lightsaber with a whole imagined scenario in his head. And I just don't think he could pull himself out of that, but it was kind of adorable. So
if I can say it one more time, just slob on that cob. Fully slob on it.
I'm
cob,
drinking just to get the
time.
taste out of my mouth. Oh my god.
Listen, that's a sweet, sweet taste if I've ever known one.
I'm still thinking about that line when he's like, "See, that's what I like about you, Mando. Smile lets you get away with everything." I was like, "Oh, just bang." I was like, "Just
fuck,
just bang,
get it over with."
That armor middle piece has got to come off. Like, just
hold on. If I can tell you what Din sounded like when he said that.
Oh man, oh Jesus, oh no, clanging the Beskar as
Just
I say.
Hold on, one more time. One more. Shh, listen. Are you listening?
Wow,
that's hot. That's hot.
Din does know one thing that can penetrate Beskar.
Oh,
that's true.
Darren, get out of here. Darren, I love you so much. That was the perfect take.
Well timed.
Oh
well timed.
God. Well done. Well done. All right, y'all. If I can end it with anybody, I'd love to end it with my sweet sister.
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead, Trey.
Trey, you say what you're gonna say.
No. You go first. Trust me on this.
Okay. So I just want to be honest. I'm clearly very drunk. So, I'm saying a whole lot. But
the she-he's are out, baby.
Wait, no, listen. I just want to say to everyone, since I've like been on the podcast and Twitter and all that stuff, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being so kind and wonderful and amazing. And I think you all are so cool and so smart. And if we were talking about Marvel, I would like not shut up. I promise you that I like watch things and analyze stuff the same way you do. It's just not Star Wars. So if we do a Marvel thing on here anytime, I will.
The Moon Knight podcast.
The Moon Knight Multiverse of Madness. I'm thinking Multiverse of Madness. I've already slated her for Multiverse of Madness.
If we're talking about Wanda Maximoff,
Multiverse of Cadness.
Shut up.
Multiverse of Cadness.
Every time Alden mentioned WandaVision, I was like, I just want to talk to Alden about WandaVision for the next like 3 hours. But
well, luckily, all I do is talk. So let me know anytime.
It's all he does.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for welcoming me and being wonderful and amazing.
Okay.
Here.
What I wanted to say is on the count of 3, can we collectively sing "Happy Birthday" to Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't deserve that, but thank you.
2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Are we doing it slow mo? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you.
Rio Durant.
Thank you guys.
Cheers to you.
I've been listening to a lot of 3090. I'm 28, but like it's just been it's a big change in my life right now, and it's been that's been in my head throughout this the last couple of weeks, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. I really do. That means the world to me. Today has been a wonderful day, and it's
gonna
been,
cry. Don't cry,
goodness.
Bill. Don't cry.
No, let it out, Bill.
Let him
It's
cry,
been a wonderful
damn it.
day, and like here's the thing. I'm so proud of Annie. I really am. Like it's just she has since as long as she's been a person
Not those
Not
first few
before.
years.
No, those first 2 years. She has talked about moving to New York and like moving her into her apartment and hugging her and telling her how proud I am of her as I walk away. And then my nose bleeds, and then I bleed onto my pants, and I'm just like, the thing is that like I had a nosebleed as I walked away, and like it got on my pants, and like in New York nobody cares, like, oh, he's got blood on his pants, nobody cares. But then like throughout the entire day, covering it up in my jacket, but like I really am proud of her. She is don't I'm blocking her out. She has done everything that you need to do.
I'm doing this.
Just shut up, let me do this.
Speaking of special people,
Uh-oh.
Pete Fletcher is here too.
Oh, hey,
There he
what's
is!
up? How's
Hi,
I didn't expect to be pulled in.
Pete.
He has to sing by
Hello.
himself now.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I have
Pete has to
say-
sing
No,
Bill.
you don't want
buddy?
that. You don't want that. Hey, I have to be honest. I didn't realize I was getting the backstage link from our friend Nick, and I was like, oh, what? But this is great. I'm just swinging by to say happy birthday to you, Bill, because you
Thank you,
are
Pete.
the man. You were one of my first guests back in the day, and still one of my favorite conversations about Phantom Menace. So I'm so excited to wish you a happy 14th birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate
very
that.
exciting.
Listen, as if I can quote Christian Slater as he said to you, my birthday today has been visually stunning.
Perfect. Well done. Well done. And I'm honored to be with all these other great people hanging out here. This is a cool group. So, but no, seriously, I just wanted to swing by. I just finished up our show, and I just want to say happy birthday, dude. And here's to many more. And I can't wait to see all of you in May. It's coming up, guys. The
Hell
Star
yeah.
Wars celebration for those of you
It's
that are going
happening.
to make it. I
It's
can't
happening.
wait. I
And
can't
here's
wait.
the thing that most people on Twitter don't realize: we're gonna have to see each other
No.
in person. In
There's-
person.
There's
I'm
so
gonna
many
We're
people
gonna have
that
to
are.
tolerate each other
I know exactly.
in person,
It's gonna
but
be-
I won't, because I
I-
won't be there, and I won't have to
But
deal
no,
with
I'll be
these
there.
bozos.
I'll
Not
be
you
there.
guys, the rest of Star Wars.
I'll be there with my 75-year-old father and my 9-year-old son, and I'm gonna have to. My dad's gonna be like, "Why was that guy kind of blowing you off?" And why was because well, let me show you some tweets. And
Oh no.
How
Look,
every
dude,
great story starts. Let me show you.
Yeah,
some tweets.
I set the tone, but Pete's about to kick it in overdrive.
Listen,
It's about to be an after
A
show.
couple people got verified, and then it got real weird.
and it's only gonna get weirder. But
It's
no,
just-
I will leave room for others to come in and say happy birthday. But Bill, my glass is empty, but I'll fill it for you. And happy. I got to do a drink to you, brother. Hold on.
What a moment.
Happy
I'll pull it
birthday,
up.
buddy.
Great.
Thank you,
I'll
brother.
see you guys
I
in May.
Appreciate you.
What a legend.
Godspeed. Godspeed.
Godspeed, rebels. See ya.
Bye. Iconic. What a show.
Y'all
I
can
can't wait to
catch
be
me at
canceled.
the hotel
I'm so
lobby
ready
bar
to be
at
canceled.
Celebration.
Dude, hotel lobby bar,
where
me,
you can
Lauren
find me.
Romo, Ken Knapsack, doing an unrecorded
Lauren
conversation.
Alden Ken? Oh my god.
It's gonna be crazy. No, honestly, like I want everybody to know now. I apologize for anything that I do and say at celebration. It's gonna be.
Bill
apologize.
and I
for
have
nothing
a
I'm going
have
to
a
do and say
saying
at
that
Celebration.
we are not going to be sober at any point during that whole convention.
Oh, 100%. So
No.
if I'm not doing something related to the convention, you could find me with dark sunglasses on at the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles across the street from the convention center. I'm gonna tell them this is my booth. Don't let anyone sit here this weekend. And yeah, it's gonna be heinous. The spice is gonna be.
Speaking
flowing.
of heinous, there's one more guest.
Oh no.
Hey!
It just means more, baby. It just means more.
We are maxed out on StreamYard right now.
I've spent the last 5 minutes desperately refreshing my browser, hoping there was room for me to get in.
There's always
Because-
room for you, Nick.
All I need to do is tell my man Bill,
Aw.
happy birthday, and cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you, brother. I appreciate you. God.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cats by 90.
Until Texas joins the SEC, and then I will never say
That'll
it
be,
again.
that'll be over.
It was a tough week this last week with Arkansas, but you know what? We're moving forward, and apparently
Listen.
we're keeping Brian Harson. So what the hell?
That's your burden to bear. Like we
Yeah,
got Mark
that's my
Stoops.
problem.
I don't.
But we're a basketball school now. It doesn't
Sports.
matter.
That's true.
Yeah.
But also,
Sports ball.
but also,
Sports ball.
if we're
No,
going to
but
talk
what does that
chaos,
mean?
I showed up and brought sports to this fun that you were having, so I apologize.
No,
I
listen,
mean, it is in our title.
It is, but I appreciate it. Kentucky and Auburn #1 in the NCAA tournament. Oh hell yeah!
Let's
brother.
go. Let's
do
roll.
it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
But most importantly, I hope you've had an amazing birthday. You deserve it.
I have. It's been I haven't talked about it, but it's been a rough couple of weeks, and today has been wonderful. It really has. It's just for my friends to my family reaching out saying, how just how much I mean to them. It means the world to me. And,
You do.
and
You're
it-
fantastic. You bring light into this world. You bring light into our Twitter fandom, our Discord servers, all the places that we get to hang out with you, interact with you, and we love you. And I'm the one that showed up not having zero idea what you've talked about for the last hour and 20
You don't need to know.
minutes.
You don't. That's the thing, and that's
But
A lot
what
of
I know
Rancor
is
talk
we love
and spinning.
we love Bill Sheehy, and we're hoping that you had an amazing birthday, and that's all that matters.
I did, and I love you all so much, and it's been a good day, and it's more than I deserve, and it's
You could say it's been wizard.
Boo, shut up.
it's been wizard. It's been wizard. It's
Nice.
it's the
Good save.
it's what is it, the Frank Capra of it all? What's George? I'm George Bailey.
Yep. A man is nothing without friends.
Nope.
Mhm.
And I have today has shown me how many friends I have, and from Twitter to people texting me, it's been wonderful, and I thank you all so much for listening to and just being here. It's been wonderful. So thank you.
I think I'm falling in love with Bill.
Aw.
Like just like
Who
this
isn't?
this vulnerability and just this beauty. Like it does feel like the end of like a major chapter. Even though Bill, you and I have only known each other, at least in close terms, for I don't know,
Like a month and a half, like
month
not
and a
even
half,
2
not
months,
like-
like
not
15
really long at
minutes.
all, but
No.
I genuinely feel like I know you so well because you wear your heart on your sleeve, man, and it's appreciated. And they fuck men up in this world, teaching them not to cry, not to be sensitive, not to do all those things, and you push back against that in such great ways. And I'm not going to name names. Not going to name names, but I know
you
a couple. I know, no, I can't. I really can't. Not this. I know a couple ladies out there that maybe let the Bill ship sail, and big mistake, ladies, because my man's about to bounce back harder than ever. And this year, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, you're a Bill.
So
drink to that.
Just to end it on that, I want to thank everybody for listening, for being a part of this conversation, to be able to not just have it with so many wonderful friends, but to have it with my sister, who means the world to me. And
That's awesome. So sweet.
but yeah,
Bringing people together. That's what we do.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I'm proud of her every day. I'll say it again. I told her this when she moved up to New York. She told me that, Bill, wait a year before you move to New York, so I don't have to be Bill Sheehy's sister.
Which I have been in literally every other context their entire life. I have been.
We all move into New York
That's-
next year. Is that
That's
what's
never
what's
been
happening?
true. From the minute that my sister was born, I have been Annie Sheehy's brother. And I have been proud to be Annie Sheehy's brother from the moment she was born.
Skywalking through the tears right now.
Can we get the Luke and Leia theme to play?
Yeah,
Can we do that?
Like,
Here,
oh,
let me bring up the
Luke,
actual speech that I brought up. Here, hold on.
Oh, good lord!
my
he wasn't
God.
gonna do
This
that.
man wrote a speech.
He did, and he said.
Wait till you get married, Annie. He is going to be a wreck.
By the way, is there a third Sheehy sibling that he doesn't like?
No, there's not. There's one that we made up. There's one that we made up, like to tell. Like we did make one up that lived in North Dakota.
I just picture like Jenny Sheehy off to the side, like, why doesn't he like me?
Fuck Jenny. Jenny doesn't mean shit.
Steve in the North Dakota,
Yeah, like Steve, Bo
Yeah.
Sheehy.
Yeah, but that only goes one of two ways. It's either the most perfect or the least perfect. Like on either side of Bill and Annie, like there's no way for it to go.
Oh,
It's okay. Here we go. Before we end and everybody plugs what they need to. You said to me something. Excuse me. You said something to me a while back that struck me. Bill, give me a year before you move here so I can stop being before I can stop being Bill Sheehy's sister. The problem is, my dear sister, is that you have never been just Bill Sheehy's sister. I have been Annie Sheehy's brother from the moment you were born. I love you, I believe in you, and I spend every day proud that I get to be Annie Sheehy's brother. Let's drink.
and we did.
And we did. Trey,
Damn,
where can the people find you?
I feel like I need to go text my brother and sister now.
Yeah.
Damn.
You can find me weeping on
Shit.
Twitter at the
I
Trillionator.
know.
That's where you can find me.
I love it. Annie, where can they find you?
You can find me at what are my ads? Like Sheehy98 on literally everything. I'm not very creative, so
Reagan.
follow me on Instagram. Actually, please,
Yeah,
God.
follow her on Instagram. Reagan, where can the people find you?
I'm different on everything. I am at Regoba on Twitter. I am at Oysters on the Half Shirt on Instagram. That's all
That's
you
the
need
best.
to follow me on.
That's so good.
I love it. I love it. And to my glorious friend, Theron, where can they find you, buddy? You and your wife.
So you can find
Jazz. Shout out Jazz.
I know she's in the other room. I was gonna call her over.
Oh,
But
bring her in. Bring her in.
all right, 2 seconds. Move on to the next one. I'll be right back.
Okay. Dope.
Alden, where can the people find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at that Alden Diaz, where you can see all the show stuff, and there's it's a bunch of stuff. But at that Alden Diaz is where you get too much of me or an
A
exciting
lot of
amount
threads.
of me. Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
thread guy.
Wake up.
Also,
baby.
if you're in the Central Florida area and I pop up on your Hinge, no, I didn't.
I love it. I love
Or
it.
maybe I did. Depends on who
Maybe
you are, I guess.
you never know. Lauren,
Oh,
where did you
man.
show up on people's
How-
hinges?
I don't know how to follow Alden on that one, but no, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Loro Knows, Instagram too. I don't really Instagram a lot, but I'm on there. Follow me there, and the Galactic Podcast is on all major platforms. So go
Great
hit us
podcast.
up, follow us. Yeah. So thank you.
Connor, Bully, where can they find you?
Bully Chiquini.
Bully Chiquini, where can they find you?
3 seconds, and you guys are turning it into a bit. You fucking scumbags. Anyway,
He's back. Bully Chiquini's back.
no, I'm not. It would be bad. It would be bad if I was. No, you can find me on Twitter, just talking Star Wars, freaking out about the High Republic because just the High Republic's absolutely built different. At Depa Banana. Check out the latest High Republic show episode for absolutely no reason at all.
Hint, hint by Connor there.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Instagram, ConmanJFO. I never use it. I just don't find it to be a super intuitive app. I mean, it's good for one thing, which is stories, but like that's
Connor
it.
just talking shit about Instagram.
No one is.
Connor on his
I love it.
Instagram
I love
is
it when Star Wars
shit.
is Connor talking
Thing.
shit about Instagram.
This is my new favorite bit of Connor Unhinged. I need
Telling
to
you, man, Bully,
and
Bully
then you
Chiquini
can-
is insane.
Find me. This is not a bully Chiquiti moment. This part isn't. It's a wholesome Chiquiti moment.
Wholesome Chiquini. Okay.
You can, which is a lot. You can find me at sweditorig.com, writing articles very slowly about just whatever Star Wars thing pops my mind, and stories. Yeah, I tell stories. It's fun. It's weird. I've never really done it before, so it's just very interesting into storytelling. I work with just a very, very talented and very passionate group of people that I just freaking love them so much. and I'm just proud of them, just like how Bill is proud of his sister Annie.
I don't think that's possible, but
The big thing with this unit, with that universe that I'm a part of, is that like we're not just doing our own thing, like we're not just rewriting the prequels just because we could. We're honoring what Lucasfilm has done with Star Wars canon, while just adding our own spin to it, just many ways. So it's really awesome. I have 2 stories come out in August. It's going to be fun. It's going to be neat. Check out the stories already there. Yeah. Stay Bombat or whatever.
Wholesome Chakiti at it right there.
Bully Jakiti, thank you so much, buddy. Michael,
No, Bill.
where can
Thank
the
you.
sources find? I love you, Michael. Where can
No.
the sources find you?
Multiple sources have confirmed that you can find me on Twitter at local first order. You can also find me on Instagram at the Michael McCoy. I'm also on YouTube, All Remaining Systems. I can't have the same handle anywhere. I like to make things difficult. My YouTube, I like to stream sometimes, post gaming videos. Sometimes I do podcasting. I also write Star Wars short stories, and you can find one coming in the next couple weeks that I'm nearing the end of writing right now. It's called There Is No Chaos. Looking forward to releasing that here shortly. So,
Isn't there another Twitter account that like you supposedly
No,
work
we don't
on?
talk about him.
What
We
are you,
don't
what are you
talk about
talking
him.
about?
multiple sources have denied the fact that is true. Actually,
Multiple
we
sources
confirmed
are
that it's not
denying
me.
that he is the Pong Krell Stan account.
Yeah, multiple sources confirmed that it was not me. You know what? We got to work in theory though. We've
Were
got to
the,
work
were
in
the
theory.
sources the clone
It
troopers?
might be Scotty J-Ro.
It's
I
definitely
think
Scotty.
it is him. Teeler.
And finally,
He wants that Tila. So he just made a Pong Krell account.
It's
He needs that Tila.
and finally, my good friend Nick. Where can they find you on Twitter, buddy?
You can find me being obsessed with the fact that it's Bill Sheehy's birthday.
Aww.
You can find me happy to be a part of a positive Star Wars fandom that is all the people on this screen, all the people in the live chat, all the people commenting. Y'all are the best, and that's why Star Wars is fun. That's why we love each other. That's why we hang out. That's why we get drunk on a Friday and talk about Star Wars. And if you need other bullcrap besides that, it's at Will's Pod. Pretty much all the places. Twitter's the main one. Instagram, maybe. TikTok, I'm way too old for that crap because honestly, I'm the oldest person in this group, and there's no way that any of you we're here. We're doing our thing. But I love these people. I love hanging out. I love the fact that we get to have fun and talk about stuff that makes us happy.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And you guys,
How about you, Bill?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Star Wars Bill. Like George Bailey, I'm the richest man in the world. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone listening. Godspeed, Rebels.
Godspeed.